Welcome to this edition of the Podcast Studio. Interference is proudly presented by the Dramatic Writing and Sound Design departments at the Savannah College of Art and Design. Join us as we delve into the mystery of Interference's January 17th distress calls.
I can feel everything, but I can't see anything.
I
can't see. They
Sweetheart, I can't see you. Where are you, dear?
Where is everyone?
I'm here with Jamie Ford, who claims she heard her daughter's voice on 93.5.
This appears to be a massive hostage situation. Hundreds of distress calls are intercepted.
The U.S. government has just deployed a task force to find the hostages being broadcast over the radio. As of right now, the transmissions can't be traced to any location.
So you've made it very clear that this situation is abnormal for a hostage situation. Why is that?
Where is everyone? I can still hear you.
Reports continue to flood in from Tokyo.
I swear to God.
I can't feel my body.
Come on.
I swear to God. I don't know what I'll do. Please make it stop. Somebody kill me, please.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us for the very first episode of Interference, a podcast where we explore the strange and unexpected phenomenon of the January 17th distress calls.
Authorities are urging calm as they investigate the origins of these mysterious
Nuwe bewyse
signals.
nou beweer voor dat hierdie syne meer as 'n stering mag wees.
Iedzīvotāji turpina pulcēties pie policijas. Bažām gaidām
I'm
jaunumus.
here with Jamie Ford, who claims she heard her daughter's voice on 93.5.
From New York to Tokyo, from London to Sydney, people listened in horror as voices cried out from the airwaves, pleading for salvation, for rescue, for deliverance from some unseen terror. Governments mobilized task forces, deployed special units, and launched international investigations in a desperate bid to locate the source of the distress calls. But as days turned into weeks and the search efforts yielded no results, a chilling realization began to dawn. The voices on the radio were coming from nowhere.
Hundreds of distress calls are intercepted at radio stations
From New York to Tokyo, from London to Sydney.
These are fake distress calls.
And launched international investigations.
I've made a mistake.
Before we begin, I need to make something clear. This is a private journalistic endeavor conducted independently of any newsroom or editorial oversight. For reasons of personal safety and to maintain the integrity of my investigation, I will not be revealing my identity. That said, I bring a strong background in journalism and writing to this work, and I am committed to presenting my unfiltered findings. Thank you. After several months with no answers, the Federal Communications Commission led the charge to get the transmissions under control. Initially, it was treated as a potential breach of national security. The Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency launched investigations suspecting everything from a terrorist attack to mass cyber hacking. International agencies like Interpol and Japan's National Police Agency were also pulled into the mix, each pursuing their own theories about the origins of the distress calls. Eventually, the National Security Agency was brought in to analyze the intercepted signals for any signs of foreign tampering or espionage. According to leaked reports, the NSA detected no signs of encryption, signal interference, or spoofing, just voices, seemingly broadcast from nowhere. At this point, government officials had to make a decision: keep funding a case with no leads, or cut their losses and reframe the narrative. With no solid evidence of a threat, the FCC issued an official statement in April, downplaying the situation as a sophisticated scheme orchestrated by hackers. The Office of Science and Technology Policy helped develop an AI-driven filtration system designed to block the transmissions before they could reach public airwaves. In essence, they hit mute. Here's an official statement from Adam Harrison, a director of communications at the Office of Public Affairs.
I'd like to address the recent concerns regarding the transmissions that have disrupted our radio and communication systems. After thorough investigation, we have found no evidence to suggest that these broadcasts are linked to any credible threat. To safeguard the public from further disruption and minimize unwarranted alarm, we have implemented an advanced AI-based filtration system. This system ensures that future unauthorized transmissions will be intercepted before they reach public airwaves. I want to emphasize that while we take any interference in our communication and infrastructure seriously, we currently have no reason to believe these broadcasts constitute a threat to our security. Thank you for your time.
Despite the government's official statements, many believe the transmissions are part of a deliberate cover-up. In weeks following the initial broadcasts, individuals began recording and sharing the intercepted signals, determined to preserve what they saw as evidence. These recordings are now part of a growing collection known as the Interference Archive, a decentralized online repository where citizens compile, analyze, and share audio related to the January 17th event. All clips you're about to hear are credited to the archive.
Why can't I see? I can hear you. Why can't I see you?
What is this place? Can anyone hear me?
I can't breathe. Please, just get me out of here. Everyone fucking shut up.
Many individuals have taken it upon themselves to delve into this investigation, resulting in a surge of theories circulating online. Before exploring those, however, let's focus on the explanation currently endorsed by the government, the hoax theory. This theory suggests the distress calls were an elaborate hoax by a group seeking attention. While it sounds far-fetched, there are clues supporting it. Here are some distress calls that may serve as evidence.
I just want to die. I can't see anything. Where are the lights?
My body burns. I don't know what happened to my skin.
Now, let's listen to those same distress calls, but repitched.
I just want to die. I can't see anything. Where are the lights? My body burns. I don't know what happened to my skin.
See? It's the same voice. Other breadcrumbs that raise suspicions about the credence of the distress calls are the background noises. Let's listen to a few examples.
They did this to us, and they won't admit it. Why is everyone so loud? I need water.
The faint clicking sound can be heard in at least 7 recorded distress calls, which lends credence to the hoax theory. Now, to shed some light onto the subject, I've invited Melanie Swartz, a forensic audio examiner, to join us and offer her expertise. Hello, Melanie. Could you please explain to our listeners what you do for a living?
Certainly. I specialize in using scientific techniques to analyze audio recordings for legal and investigative purposes. This involves tasks such as identifying tampering or determining the authenticity of recordings.
With your expertise in audio examination, what's your take on the hoax theory that the government is currently standing by?
I think it's politically motivated. From what I've observed, I don't believe these clips have been digitally manipulated.
What evidence led you to that conclusion?
The slight pitch variation suggests issues with transmission, rather than deliberate tampering. It's not outlandish to assume that one hostage recorded multiple distress calls. Additionally, the reoccurring background noises could indeed indicate that the hostages are in the same location, lending credence to the authenticity of their distress calls.
With that assessment, do you believe that this is part of a massive hostage plot?
It's difficult to say. While there's evidence supporting that hypothesis, the distress calls themselves present a unique and unsettling picture.
Would you elaborate on what is particularly unsettling about this case?
Well, the victims seem to be heavily affected, with slurred speech and nonsensical notions indicating possible drug influence. Some claim they can't feel their bodies or their skin. I haven't seen anything like it before, and because of this, I can't in good conscience make any kind of conclusion without serious doubt.
Well, Melanie, your insights have been invaluable. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and share your expertise with our listeners.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Now, Melanie isn't the only expert we're going to be talking to tonight. I'd like to introduce Owen Clark, a hostage negotiator. Owen, thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Of course. I'm grateful to be here.
Would you mind telling the listeners a bit about what you do for a living?
I'm a hostage negotiator, which means I communicate with individuals in crisis situations in order to de-escalate and bring about a peaceful resolution.
How long have you been a hostage negotiator?
In June, it'll be 7 years.
Wow, 7 years. That's impressive. When you're given a case, how do you begin breaking it down?
Typically, I start by gathering as much information as possible about the situation. This might involve reviewing case files, speaking with witnesses or family members, or consulting with other members of law enforcement.
What are the next steps?
Well, once I have a clear understanding of the situation, I'll begin the negotiation process, which often involves establishing a line of communication with the individual in crisis and trying to establish rapport and build trust. Then I see if the perpetrator has any demands and if we can plausibly meet them to get hostages to safety.
Now, you just spoke about demands. If I can remember correctly, you had something interesting to say regarding the January 17th hostage situation. Would you mind if I played that clip for the listeners?
Of course.
So you've made it very clear that this situation is abnormal for a hostage situation. Why is that?
Typically, when hostages are taken, it's in exchange for something. A ransom, political demands, or some other form of leverage. But in this case, we're not seeing any demands being made.
What could that mean?
The situation presents two possibilities. Either it's an elaborate publicity stunt, or it's a hostage situation that doesn't follow any of the typical patterns. If anything, the transmission seems unscripted, almost accidental.
I've heard reports suggesting that the hostages' mental faculties don't seem to be intact. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, that's correct. It's one of the more troubling aspects of this case. While we initially suspected that drugs might be involved, our investigations haven't uncovered any evidence to support that theory. Instead, what we're seeing is a deterioration in the hostage's cognitive abilities.
That's certainly concerning. Do you have any theories as to what might be causing this decline?
At this point, we're considering all possibilities. It's possible that they've been exposed to some harmful substance or gas that's affecting their mental state. Another theory is that they may be suffering from an underlying illness or a condition that's exacerbating their symptoms. Whatever the cause, it's clear that something is seriously wrong here.
I'm sure that makes your job all the more difficult, as usually the hostages are lucid enough to provide clues and insights to their location.
Absolutely. Usually we can glean valuable information from discrete hints the hostages provide us with, but none of the hostages seem to be aware of where they are, or even who they are. It makes this much more difficult to establish a line of communication and negotiate effectively.
Have you been able to make contact with any of the hostages?
Only once, and we're still unsure if it was a prank transmission.
Given all of these developments, do you believe in the hoax theory that the government is currently standing by?
As of right now, it's the most plausible option. I can't think of any reasonable motive for a group to cause such widespread panic, but it makes a lot more sense than this being a legitimate hostage situation.
Well, thank you so much, Owen. Your insights have been invaluable. I hope to have you back again sometime. So, where does this leave us? The government maintains its position, filtering out the signals to avoid a public disturbance, but the authenticity of the distress calls seem clear. Are we going to soon discover that we have been filtering out genuine distress calls, turning a blind eye to those in need? This is the end of today's segment, but the search for truth continues. Thank you for tuning in to Interference, where we unravel the mysteries that others overlook. Until next time, stay critical, stay curious, and stay tuned. I'm recording this in post because there have been two interesting developments. Just moments ago, Melanie called me wishing to retract her statement. She believes the audio has been tampered with.
So, I listened to the distress calls again, and I wanted to apologize. I've made a mistake. I reanalyzed the voices, and the vocal pitching is a result of editing, not transmission. These are fake distress calls.
The second development is a bit more interesting and directly contradicts what Melanie is claiming. I received a phone call from an anonymous caller claiming to have valuable information.
I recognize that clicking sound. It's the first prototype of a DNA sequencer. They still have it on display.
The caller then sent me a video clip from a science expo at MindSight Laboratories. In the clip, Malachi Hawthorne, neuroscience department chair, gives a touching speech about the goal of improving the longevity of those with neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia, Huntington disease, MS, etc.
I am deeply honored to share with you our profound commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and compassion in the field of neuroscience. At MindSight, our mission is guided by a simple yet profound aspiration to bring healing to those affected by neurodegenerative diseases. With every discovery, we strive to illuminate the path towards a future where dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's are but distant memories, replaced by moments of clarity, connections, and joy. Our approach is rooted in a deep reverence for the human spirit and a profound respect for the resilience of the human mind. Through the lens of science, we seek not only to understand the intricacies of neurodegeneration, but also to honor the inherent dignity and worth of every individual affected by these conditions.
The caller and I discussed the clip's content, and she agreed that all of her statements could be released. Can you tell us about this DNA sequencer and why it's significant?
Yes, one of the early prototypes of a DNA sequencer is displayed in the lobby of MindSight Labs, where they hold their expos.
Was MindSight known for developing the first DNA sequencer?
No.
Who did?
A competitor.
Why did they have it on display then?
Showmanship, appeal. The facility itself was quite the spectacle.
What do you mean by that?
It felt more like a museum than a treatment center. The second I walked in, I was immersed in this sleek, kind of high-tech environment. I couldn't walk a yard without running into some over-animated showcase of one of their latest breakthroughs.
That's a lot.
Yeah, the whole setup just felt intense. You got the sense that every employee genuinely believed that they were working at some medical haven.
At this point, I was starting to wonder if she was leading me down a dead end. I had heard the faint clicking in the background in the expo clip, and it was similar to the distress calls, but it didn't seem conclusive. I still wasn't sure this was a legitimate lead. I sent the clip over to my editor friend, Zachary, and he layered the two clips over each other. Here is the final result.
I am deeply honored to share with you our profound commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and compassion in the field of
They did this
neuroscience.
to us, and they won't admit it.
I made a mistake.
This episode was made possible by the dedication and hard work of the following team. Sound design by Archer McCracken. Written by Julia Wooten. Supervising producers Sarah Wilhelm and Julia Wooten. Producers Yonka Gerber and Sarah Wilhelm. Lead sound supervisor Tennille Boone. Sound supervisor Bodie Blanchard. Archer McCracken, dialogue editor, recording engineer. Bodie Blanchard, re-recording mixer, recording engineer. Elaine Lynn, recording engineer. Zaya Lee, recording engineer. Story editor, Reese Landsman. Additional writers, Knox Silver and Maddie Sodeman. Art by Carrie Jones. Intro and outro music by Julia Wooten and Archer McCracken. Featuring the voices of Spencer Weinstein as series announcer, Sloan Berg as Victim 1, Peyton Thompson as Victim 2, Natasha Luther as Victim 3, Jack Carmichael as Victim 4, James Nicholas as Victim 5, Ryan Doherty as Victim 6, Sydney Schaefer as Victim 7, Aiden Wise as Reporter 1, Grace McGlynn as Reporter 3, Kalani Washington as Reporter 4, Spencer Weinstein as Owen Clark, Lizzie Sorrell as host, Yanka Gerber as Afrikaans reporter, Hayden Weiss as Reporter 2, Mila Obarenko as Russian reporter, Tiago Oliveira as Portuguese reporter, Owen Graham as Adam Harrison, Spencer Weinstein as Old Man, Sophia Denise as Young Girl, Haley Sennett as Woman 1, Catherine Holmes as Woman 2, Kelly Harmon as Caller 1, 2, and 3, Olivia Dargis as Melanie Schwartz, and Piper Ruth as Natalie Reynolds. Special thanks to Faculty Advisor Renee Bishop, Chair of Dramatic Writing Avery Stork, Chair of Sound Design Mitchell Gettleman, Chair of Film and Acting Andrew Reeve Rabb, Executive Dean Kate Newell, SCAD's President and co-founder Paula Wallace. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay critical, stay curious, and stay tuned.